Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Give me those Star Wars. Don't let them end. Hopefully they never end, because this podcast is going to go on forever. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to the Resistance broadcast. TRB is live. Thank you for joining us. I'm John. That's Lacey, and we are here to talk to you about a lot that is going on in a galaxy far, far away. We got Will of the Force in the middle of the show. We got a lot of news to get into, a lot of interesting stories that have come out recently in the past week, and of course, your posts in replies to if Arnold Schwarzenegger played the stranger in The Acolyte later in the show. So
spoilers.
Those. Oh yeah, I should have said that.
How many years have we been doing this? What is happening?
Do you realize what just happened to me now? Now the chat's gonna be like, he's at it again. There he goes.
You're such a spoiler.
And by the way, I think Lacey has looked at these a couple times. Like, it's hard to
I don't.
Well, you've probably seen them like inadvertently.
Over the years, sure, when you retweet them or share them in our Discord
so when you
chat.
like, wait, hold on, let's do this live then. Let's just do it. Here we go.
Okay.
So show notes, you pop them open. You don't scroll all the way down. Is that what it is?
I scroll down to the blue title of what it is, and then I scroll back up.
That's very good. All right. Well, sorry I ruined your magic.
Some of us have control.
But okay. Thanks to everybody who's joining us live. We appreciate it. Fire up the chat. Have a good time. Super chats are available if you want your comments, questions read on the show. And make sure you're subscribed on your preferred platform, Apple, Spotify, wherever. And of course, youtube.com/@TRB podcasts. And Nerdy and Nice, our podcast about all the other stuff. We've been talking about Beetlejuice, Superman, Batman, reality TV, wrestling,
Glenn Powell,
who's in everything. So check out, if you like stuff besides Star Wars and you like how we talk about stuff, subscribe to Nerdy and Nice, also free on your favorite podcast apps, and the video version right here on the channel. And if you'd like to support us, please head to patreon.com/TRB podcasts. Tiers start at just $5 per month. We have a lot of ideas coming down the pipeline. We're cooking behind the scenes, as they say, but there's already a lot of weekly extra content there. We have mini episodes, a lot of awesome stuff.
I just got the most epic prize for a giveaway for Nerdy and Nice that I hope everybody appreciates, because it took me 3 days to get it.
It is very cool.
It's very, very cool.
I actually want to see it in action, because it looks like it's a fun little interactive thing. But
great, because I bought 2, so
sweat. All right. So we're here to talk Star Wars. The first thing we have to do is, obviously, Lacey, first of all, how you doing? Good to see you. I know you said you had a little bit of a headache, but you're being a trooper here.
I do have a bit of a headache, but there is something I actually wanted to tell you that happened to me the weekend before last that I never told you. That is probably one of the most epic things that has ever happened in my life.
Wow.
So I went to a local country fair, carnival type thing. And you know how they have all those games? And usually the games are rigged. They have water guns, ring toss. Don't ever do the ring toss. It's stupid.
Right.
Basketball, darts, etc. So not many people know this. I grew up playing basketball for several years. For about 4 years, I played basketball. There was a chance that I was going to maybe play in high school and college, but I didn't, because I have no dedication to anything except this podcast, apparently, which I've been sticking with it for 6-7 years now. But
stuck with it?
I meant yay, I stuck with it. I did it. That's how I meant that.
Sentence?
I don't know. Anyway, so
Lacey has a life debt to the pod.
I'm basically Chewbacca to his Han Solo. I'm stuck here. Anyway, so they had the basketball things, right? The basketball shoots, the free throws.
Oh.
And my daughter's there, and they have these big, gigantic stuffed animals. Now, as a parent, you're immediately like, I gotta at least try. There's no hope, but I gotta try. I went in a little bit cocky, because I was like, well, I played basketball, so I could probably do this. So I get 3 chances. One shot, I get a stuffed animal. So I shoot the first one. I get it in. I shoot the second one. It bounces around the rim, comes out. A guy walks behind me and goes, "Hey, sweetie, you got to shoot that underhand." I look at him like this. I shoot again, get it in. Because nothing fires me up more than pure rage and vengeance. So then I win her this stuffed animal. I'm so hyped. I'm riding high. I'm like, I'm the best parent that's ever existed on the planet. So then I go to darts, and you get 3 chances with the darts. And the guy's like, "Oh, if you get 1, I'll give you something, Good luck." I shoot it, hit a balloon. Shoot the second one, hit a balloon. Third one, hit a balloon. Matt looked at me and goes, "What is happening?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm pretty much a prodigy. I should just go around this carnival and rob all these people and their stuffed animals."
Wow.
I quit there. I was like, I've done 2 in a row. Like, I can't. But like, this guy thought he had me. He's like, "Yeah, good luck, sweetie. Like, good." And I was like, "You have no idea." It was like 1, 2, 3 right in a row. It was the best thing I've ever done in my life. It's right up there. Yeah.
So were you tempted to throw the dart at the guy?
No, like he wasn't being rude. It was the guy that was walking by when I was shooting basketball. He was like, "Hey, sweetie, throw it underhand." I was like, "I'm not gonna shoot a free throw underhand." Like,
Wait, hold on a minute. Some random dude was walking
Yeah.
behind you?
Yeah.
Was like an old man?
I would say like 50s.
So some people are just like, they think like people need to
Just
get punched in the face.
out of their
more, I feel
mouth,
like, or
just
something.
out of his
Yeah.
mouth. And my
What
dad's
is
sitting
that?
there, and Bill
Alright,
Gill was
anyway.
not having it. He was like, "She used to play basketball. I coached her." Like telling this guy, I was like, "Dad, chill. It's okay. It's all
Well,
right."
congrats. Good job.
Thank you so much. It was probably one of the high moments of my life. And I remember being like, "I'm going to talk about this on the pod because John would never believe my athletic abilities." And yet, here we are.
That is impressive. I
Thanks. I'll never do
award
it again.
you. If we ever play next time we get together or in Japan or whatever, if we ever play any games,
You want to play
you're gonna
knockout?
be-
I'm so good
you'll
at
be the
basketball.
one. We should do a bet. You and I one-on-one basketball. We should do it.
No, I don't want to do one-on-one. I'm not a dribbler and like, "Oh, let's go around the back." I'm
And
a
you're what?
shooter.
5'2"?
I'm 5'4". So that's
5'4".
not going to
Right.
work against you who's what? 6'2", 6'1"?
Yeah, I'm basically Shaq.
You would just slap it out of my hand. It's
Yeah.
gotta be like knockout. It's gotta be horse or some type of
Okay.
shooting game.
All right, we'll do TRB, 3 letters.
That's not fun. You gotta do 5.
TRB
E
and I don't know. But all right, so I have
That was a really long story. I'm really sorry. Everybody's listening to the podcast 9 minutes in and they're like, "Lacey, we don't care." It was a high moment, guys. It was
So
a
listen
high
to this.
moment.
So tomorrow's, I hope he's not watching, but I hope he's in bed. Johnny's 6th birthday tomorrow.
That's so exciting.
I have had in my attic for years now. I went out and bought Power of the Force Millennium Falcon. It is in the box. It's ready to go. It's been up there. He hasn't seen it. He has no idea. I was waiting for the right age, and I think the time is now. So
He's gonna
tomorrow,
lose it.
I'm going up in the attic and I'm giving him the Power of the Force Millennium Falcon. It's gonna be a big deal.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah. But anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. We're gonna get into stuff right now. The first thing we have to do is the next Star Wars show, Lacey, is Skeleton Crew. Comes out December 3rd with a 2-episode premiere. So what are we doing? The following night, we are doing our live coverage of Skeleton Crew, and we on social media released the name of our show and our logo, and we want to do it for our audience here because sometimes people are kind of done with social media. It's like
I get it.
like, I'm all set. Yeah, I get it too.
Yeah.
So for our audience, our audio listeners, and of course our watchers on YouTube, our show covering Skeleton Crew is going to be called Galactic Goonies. And if you're watching on the channel, you see our logo there, and it got rave reviews online. Our good friend Brian Ward put this together for us based on our idea, and we just love the alliteration that we put together for this, and it has this fun warmth to it, and it's going to be a really good time talking about the next.
That was all Johnny. I can't
Star
take
Wars
credit for that at all. I had nothing.
We're team effort. We
I
bounced
I
a few
sent
back
the
and forth
message.
each other.
How about that? I sent the message. but I didn't.
Well, because everyone, because
I was too
it all
busy
started.
shooting free throws to really,
To be fair,
tribute.
I think you named the Mando fan show.
I did.
And that started this whole thing of doing these names for these shows.
Yeah.
And that, like, so when I posted to our Discord, I was like, to our General's War Room, I was like, guess what our show name is going to be for Skeleton Crew? And everyone was like, the Bones Zone, and like everything with bones and actual skeletons. And I was like, no. So thankfully no one guessed it, but it seems like everyone likes the one we came up with. So it's gonna be a good time. December 4th, we're kicking it off to talk about the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew. It's ways away, of course. We have all 3 months to get through, but we just wanted to let everyone know in advance because our eyes are on the next live action Star Wars show.
T-shirts are coming. People have been asking. T-shirts are coming.
T-shirts are coming. New TRB T-shirts with the new logos. There's a lot coming. A lot of cool ideas we want to do for Patreon. There's a lot of new stuff coming now that summer's winding down. But Lacey, before we get into Resistance Report, real quick, your thoughts on the report that Keanu Reeves was almost Master Soul. Obviously was not. Lee Jung-jae got the role. But now it's sort of this open invite for Keanu if he wants to get a role in Star Wars. He may enter a galaxy far, far away. So quick, your thoughts on Keanu if he was Soul, and 2, do you want Keanu in Star Wars?
Lee Jung-jae did the best job. I'm glad he got the role because he wanted it and learned English just for this role, which he had turned down previously, multiple roles to learn English, but this meant so much to him that he got it. So I'm glad that he got it. So it doesn't bother me that Keanu Reeves didn't get it. And supposedly he didn't get it because he wanted to do Sonic instead. So good for him. Also, the role probably wasn't right for him anyway if he was willing to turn down Star Wars. Like, if you're not feeling it, then I'm cool someone got it that really wanted it. That being said, open invite, I get that. People want him to play Darth Revan like so bad. Like that's been the fan cast for like 20 years more.
Yes.
I hope he plays someone cool eventually. He's just such a charismatic guy. He's really fun to watch during press stuff, especially with John Wick. They had him doing like the puppy interview by himself. It was adorable.
Right.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm not surprised he didn't get it though. I'm glad Lee Jung-jae did. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, it sounded like it would have happened if it wasn't for scheduling issues. So I like how certain things happen. As you know, the Acolyte was not my favorite Star Wars show, and the part that I was most upset about was that Lee Jung-jae came and went, and I love him, and now we're not going to get any more of him in Star Wars. So that's over. So now at least Keanu has an opportunity to still be in Star Wars. The one thing I'll just say, if he is in Star Wars, I think it'd be cool if he was more like a Ted from Bill and Ted than a Jedi like a Neo. I feel like that would be too close to like the Neo vibe. I think he needs to be more of a normal person and let his personality.
I want to see him as a smuggler more than a Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
Jedi, like you said, it kind of goes into the whole Carrie-Anne Moss thing. Like you had your expectations because of the Matrix. She even did the little move.
Yeah.
And then it was just a letdown when she wasn't around for that long.
And the Acolyte would have been a little strange seeing Neo and Trinity acting against one another,
It would have been weird, and maybe that was one of the reasons why ultimately it just didn't happen.
I don't know. I heard it was scheduling. I heard they were going.
I heard it was Sonic, yeah.
Yeah, but
that would have been so weird if it was that. Yeah, now that you say that, I didn't even consider that until right now.
Yeah, people have found another reason to be mad when they really weren't. But let us get into the news with the Resistance Report.
Yes, we should do that right now.
It's the Resistance.
Hard to say that as slow as possible. It's just
thought you were gonna do super chats first, so I had like those ready to go.
All right. Let's do the super chats first.
Yeah, that's right. Lacey's correct. David Ford's up. Thanks for the super chat, David. He said, I have faith that something great will happen, excuse me, in the aftermath of the Acolyte cancellation. May the mouse be with you. I agree with that, David. I think it's a tough situation all around. I don't think cast members like Amandla were treated adequately, not just as cast members, but as human beings. I think that's a major problem that we're seeing across the board. And it's not just people in the show, it's people everywhere. Like even we get treated poorly online. It's everyone. It's insane how the internet landscape has transformed people into the ability to forget human empathy. But I will feel better once some more announcements get made. Because right now it's looking like we're just getting Mandalorian, and it's hard to be super duper 100% optimistic when you have this one thing, and then Andor, which is kind of just like, I feel like Andor's its own thing. It's like its own project.
Yeah.
Tony Gilroy's doing okay. Diego's good. They know where they stand. What are your thoughts, John?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always hopeful for the future of Star Wars. I'm always hopeful about I always hope for the best in things. I
Sure.
don't always expect the best in things, but I always hope for the best in things. So
I'd
yeah,
agree with that. That's how you are as a person. You're always
yeah,
tending to look on the bright side of things.
trying to. Yeah. Thanks,
Uh,
David.
Next is Christy. What up, Christy? Thanks for the super chat. She said, can't stick around tonight. I'm sure it'll be a great show as always. Oh, thanks so much. I'll catch it in podcast form. That's right. It'll be there tomorrow. As always, TRB is the best. No,
Thank
you're
you,
the
Christy.
best. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
All right, let's get into some stories.
Let's get into some stories. And the big one, I am so excited about this. Sigourney Weaver, screen legend, confirms that she is in The Mandalorian and Grogu. There were reports this past spring of that being the case. But when it comes from the actor themselves, you can put it in the bank. And she said she's going to be wrapping up filming for that before the end of the year when she goes off to do another project. So at least her part of The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to wrap this year. Whether that means the whole film is going to, we're not sure. But her quote was, Lacey, I'm playing a role in The Mandalorian and Grogu, which will be directed by Jon Favreau. I got to meet Grogu for the first time the other day.
Oh my God, she got to meet the puppet. I've never been more jealous.
What do you mean the puppet?
Grogu.
He's real.
Oh, sorry. She got to meet Grogu. Oh my God. I wish I got to meet Grogu.
Tell me about it. Like, I just had this little doll behind me here. She got to meet the actual dude. I wonder if he signs autographs or if he's sort of
People just
over it.
out there
You know?
living your dreams, you know?
Like when he first got famous after the first episode of The Mandalorian, he was probably so hyped to sign autographs. He's like, oh my God, this is amazing. People want my autograph. And now he does that look away scribble. He's
I'm just picturing him having your voice being like, oh my God, people want my autograph.
I assume he's going to talk in this movie, right? He has to. Come on. But she said that she is going to London for the Tempest at the end of the year. So, but yeah, what do you think? Sigourney Weaver, obviously an icon of many franchises, Ghostbusters, Alien, Avatar, tons of other great
inspiration
movies.
for Pelimoto.
Huh?
The inspiration for Pelimoto in The Mandalorian.
Yes. Yeah.
Like everybody saw that character and was like, Alien.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I'm not gonna lie, she's in everything now. She's in Finding Nemo or Finding Dory. She's in Marvel Defenders. She's in Alien. She's in Star Wars. She's in Avatar. I get it. I understand because she's awesome. I also think there's an element here of like, get paid, girl. Like, get your check. Because like, why would you turn down these paying jobs, especially these bigger franchises? But I'm interested to see what she's bringing to the table because she has played so many different roles. But man, is she going to be the big interview? I think for the press cycle will be her.
Yeah, I have been
Her, by the way,
one, huh?
Pedro did share her picture on Instagram tagging the Mandalorian, like confirming it, being like, awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that. But yeah, Sigourney's been my number one wish list actor for Star Wars for like a decade.
Yeah, you've been tweeting her for a while.
And we did create your own Star Wars story thing a while back. And I had her as like this Empress lead villain queen thing. And I think, like, as I'm thinking about The Mandalorian, I'm like, they're sort of bringing it back to basics. It feels like where they're going to focus their priority, obviously, on the two of them, the way
Mm-hmm.
it was the first 2 seasons. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
Bo-Katan will show up and other people will show up, but it'll be centrally focused back on the two of them. You felt that with fans' reaction to season 3. They felt like he sort of like was cast to the side a little bit in his own show.
Yeah. I mean, my critiques of season 3 is like it just felt the journey wasn't there.
A little
Like it was
disjointed.
yeah, it was weird. They
But
like forced him to put his helmet back on, basically.
yeah, and I still liked
Yeah.
a lot of it, no
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But I think with this, like, sort of back to formula, and they don't like if Moff Gideon is not there. I don't know what the story is with that. Like, who's the bad guy? I don't think it's Thrawn, because I think Thrawn is going to be more with the Filoni stuff and Ahsoka and all that. So it's got to be something big. So I think it'd be cool if she was playing some sort of lead villain, a new, fresh lead villain. Because a lot of those classic movies, whether it's Willow or Star Wars, or there's always this like mysterious, older, powerful villain, and I think she would crush that right now at this point in her career. So we'll see. Maybe she just is Peli Motto's cousin, and she rolls up
Mm,
looking just like her, and that's it. That could be too. Well, who knows? But I
yeah.
just love the fact that Sigourney Weaver's in this. I've always been a fan of hers. She seems like she's always down to earth. She's never above the IP stuff. She's a fan's actor. She's always been gracious and kind. You never heard a bad word about her. So I love the fact that Sigourney Weaver is going to be in Star Wars. I know we try to get away from stars and popular faces sometimes, but I've been wanting this for such a long time, and no matter what role she has, I'm not going to set a high expectation.
Mhm.
I'm happy about it. But
Yeah, I'm interested to see who she plays. She played the bad guy in Marvel Defenders.
oh,
So,
okay, gotcha. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I remember she surprised the crew out or the audience in 2016 at New York Comic Con. She came out and surprised everybody and was like, "I'm playing the villain." It was like a big thing. That was actually when I got punched when she walked out
Oh,
on stage. So that's my
okay.
connection to Sigourney Weaver. When she walked out on stage, I got punched.
Oh.
Uh, that was quite the situation. Um, I think she's gonna do a good job. I think she's great. I think she really likes being in these franchises. But man, is she Thanosing them all. Like she's got a glove at this point that has all these different IPs on it.
It's pretty. It's a good glove. Yeah, she's done it all, and she's going to be 75 in October, and she's
Yeah.
still just
With
bringing
that
it.
pumpkin image. Every
Yeah.
October, we get the pumpkin where she's laying on the pumpkin.
Oh yes.
Every October, September, people put that like me September 30th, me October 1st, and it's always her on the pumpkin.
Wait, is it her?
It's her. It's Sigourney Weaver.
Wow.
Do you know what image I'm talking about?
I thought you were talking about Jamie Lee Curtis for some reason because of Halloween.
No. No, 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 no.
Oh, well,
Anyway,
let me look it up.
keep going.
I want
I'm gonna look up the picture.
Oh,
You
I
keep
got
going.
it. Found it. Oh, yeah.
Where
Oh,
she's
yeah.
laying on the pumpkin.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
funny. It's such a good picture.
Also an underrated, for anybody who wants an underrated Sigourney Weaver movie, 2001's Heartbreakers. Really funny.
You love that movie. You've brought it up numerous times.
It's got Gene Hackman in it, Ray Liotta, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Jason Lee, Sigourney Weaver,
Hmm.
even Anne Bancroft is in it,
I don't know
The
who that is.
Graduate. So,
Oh.
yeah. But anyway, Sigourney Weaver, Star Wars. I'm in. I want to see what the TRB community feels about that, but I'm all about it. But this next story, Lacey, obviously the Acolyte, a lot of buzz about its cancellation. A lot of we talked about it at length about why it was canceled, the facts about it last week, so we won't get too much into it. But
Mhm.
people are still buzzing, and the show's star, Amandla Stenberg, takes to Instagram to post a reaction to its cancellation. And the quote is, to kick off her 8-minute video. It's not a huge shock for me that it was canceled. Of course, I live in the bubble of my own reality, but for those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and no one had seen it. That's when we started experiencing a rampage of hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us. This really affected me when I first got the job because it's just not something, even though I anticipated it, it's not something you can fully understand when what it feels like until it's happening to you. Which,
they definitely warned her.
Yeah,
From the sound of it.
If you go all the way back to Jake Lloyd, Ahmed Best, Hayden Christensen, Boyega, Kelly Marie Tran, Moses Ingram, like this stuff keeps happening. And, people, I understand Disney's sort of operating standpoint today is just like, we're not really going to dig too into that stuff. And I'm sure there's mandates of don't engage and go radio silent. And we saw official account go radio silent for a few days. It's got to be a tough spot to be in when you have those roles and stuff. But I understand fans calling for the studio to say something because, Ewan McGregor said something on his own. People are saying stuff, and Boyega still to this day, I think he posted like a Han Solo salute to Amanla recently because he dealt with similar stuff. Like Boyega got so much hate.
He got a lot of hate.
So crazy what happened to him.
Yeah.
And even by people who, claim to be fans of the new stuff too.
And so did Daisy.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's just horrible to see that stuff's still happening. And we wanted to address it, and we posted on Twitter about it, but obviously we have zero tolerance with that type of behavior in our community. Not just with people within our community, but how people talk about the actors and stuff. We just don't allow it. Gone. And I imagine a lot of people are conducting themselves the same way. My thoughts real quick on it is, remember that you're talking to human beings. I would be horrified if people would actually say the things that they say online to people to that same person's face. And I don't think that they would. And you just got to remember that you're talking to fellow people and they're actual real human beings that you're talking to. And you wouldn't want to be talked that way. And behave as though your pets understand what your behavior is, or whatever that analogy is. Like, make your pets be proud of you. That's that adage. It's just, this stuff does have to be called out because it does keep happening. And I don't like the idea of blaming that stuff on why the show was canceled or why it got low viewership. I don't give those people that much credit at all. And I don't think general audiences are even dialed into any of that. But it doesn't mean it's not happening. That's where that's the nuance of this thing. Like, show got canceled. A lot of people watched the first 2 episodes. A lot of people fell off just because they weren't interested. But at the same time, that stuff was still happening. So it's like that has to be addressed because you have an actor going out on her own on an 8-minute video on her own personal account, not backed by brand, not backed by anybody, saying what her experience was. And you gotta respect that for her putting herself out there because she might be jeopardizing herself for future hires because they're like, oh, she's controversial and stuff. And sadly, that's how the business is. But I applaud her for at least putting her experience out there. And I just hope that people grow and become more mature and better than what we've seen from time to time with certain pockets of people who, for whatever reason, still want to be involved in talking about this stuff, even though they don't like it.
I think that Amanda's video was very thorough, very thought out, honest, genuine. I feel bad that Amanda had to say anything at all, but at the same time, I appreciate the comments about online communities in general, and I don't think it's all fans. I don't think it's majority of fans that act this way. I do think that there is some responsibility on certain creators that kind of drum up that anger and attention for clicks and money and stuff. And I'm not just saying it's just Star Wars, it's everywhere. Like, every fandom has those people that just hate everything because it's rage bait. That's why people make those silly videos on TikTok that they're like, I'm going to make these delicious tacos in a toilet so that everybody goes, what are you doing? Why would you ever do this? This is insane. Why?
Yeah.
And it's because of clicks and engagement and all these things. So every time I see people that are like, Star Wars is the worst, I hate Star Wars, all I'm seeing is someone making nachos in a toilet, because that's basically the same thing. It's someone making, like, I'm going to make fresh ice cream sundae in this sink, and where the family's going to get together and eat. No, you're not. You're just wasting food. Why are you doing that? It's just crazy to me. I don't think anybody should ever treat anyone badly, say anything mean. Like, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. But I do think that there is a separation between hating on someone on a personal level and just being mean, and criticizing a story and or show in a way that's saying, hey, I don't like this, and this is why I don't like it.
Yeah.
As long as it's not making personal connections back to those people. Like, I don't like it because this person sucks. Like, that's different than you saying, I don't like this because I don't like the characters. I don't like where the story was going. I'm not a fan of this part of the timeline. Like, that's fine. I think there needs to be a disconnect there as well. And I think Amandla did a great job of explaining the thought process behind, we're all in our own little bubbles. We're all our own echo chambers, if you will. And sometimes it's okay to just hear out the other people. So I implore everyone online to take a second and breathe. And before you respond to something, simply ask yourself, what is this doing? What I'm about to say, what am I putting into the world? Is this something that I would say to someone in person? And is it really affecting anything if I say it? Is it important?
Take it to the Thanksgiving table. Tell your mother and father what you said to that actor online. Guaranteed you're not going to tell them that you said that.
I do want to implore too. I see people going back and forth in the chat right now about this. I understand it's a sensitive subject. Let's respect each other, just like we're saying right now on camera on the show, to respect each other in the chat as well. I understand some people disagree about things. That's fine. Like, let's be nice. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to put you in timeout, guys.
And keep the language clean in there. It's a family-friendly show.
Clean.
Let's go.
Anyway.
Get it together, folks.
But I think that's all we really need to say. We don't agree with this. Yeah. We will always call out people for acting crazy and being
inappropriate. And we have zero tolerance for it in our community.
Yes. From both sides, whether you agree with us or not, like, come on.
Yeah.
Just be nice. We're all human. Like, stop making this something that it doesn't have to be. Like, if you don't like something, that's fine.
Decent person. You can get out.
It's really not that hard to just, like, maybe don't say anything.
Yeah.
Maybe just
grow
don't.
up. Okay. All right. Next up, we have, and this Jeff Snyder reporting this one, that's a little strange on what this even means, but he's reporting, and Jeff Snyder's been right about a lot of the Star Wars stuff. I know, he rubs people the wrong way or whatever, but when it comes to the reporting, like, he's been very accurate, and so you got to tip your hat there. He's saying Kathleen Kennedy will reportedly remain at Lucasfilm as president until at least midway through 2025. Is
there anything
so I don't know.
Come out besides Skeleton Crew?
No,
not right now.
I mean, Andor is coming out next year.
Maybe she's waiting for Andor to finish. Maybe Andor's coming out in January.
Yeah. But so I don't know what this means. If it's sort of a minor extension, because the contract ends this year, so this doesn't sound like a new contract in a way. It's interesting. So I just thought that was interesting. There's not much else to it as far as I understand, but that means Star Wars Celebration, Japan, whatever they announce there, Kathleen Kennedy, according to this report, will still be president of Lucasfilm. So very interesting, to say the least, regardless of whether you are looking for a new voice or you want Kathleen Kennedy to re-up for 3 years. Interesting nonetheless. Do you have any other thoughts on that one?
I mean, I am a part of the camp that believes she's done an amazing job to an extent. There's some choices that she's made or things that she said that I don't agree with, which is fine. I'm not running the company. She is. I do think you make a good point that it kind of lines up with Celebration in April. Could they pass the torch at Celebration for fans that are present, like her being like a big send-off? They could even do a big panel for her being like Kathleen Kennedy's legacy or something, where people come on and talk about her or talk about things that she's done or something, like a nice little send off for her. But I mean, it is weird only because they haven't announced anything for next year. My assumption is that Andor's coming out Q1 of next year. And then her send off will be Celebration. That's what
it could be.
It seems to line up with. But who knows? Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I think announcing a replacement at Celebration would be a bad idea, because I think that would hijack a lot of the excitement for that week.
You think so?
I think because I think people who are...
It depends who the announcement is. Like, what if it's Dave Filoni?
Well, right. So I don't know. But like, in other words, people who have been dying for Kathleen Kennedy to be gone will be celebrating that all week. And it could lead to just unwanted drama at the convention where your focus wants to be on the stuff on screen, not the people in the offices. So we'll see. I mean, they may be lining something up. I'm not sure. But to me, this sounds like... I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. This sounds like they are going to be transitioning to new leadership, but they need more time
to find someone. Yeah. I think
so. We'll keep our eye on that. But right now, Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm, and there's been no announcement of any sort of end to that. So we'll see. And then the last bit also came from Snyder, and he's saying Lucasfilm reportedly has multiple unannounced Star Wars TV series in development, Lacey. Now, we had been talking that we thought they were hitting a big pause on this. There's obviously no details, but the fact that the report is multiple series are being developed for Disney Plus, which doesn't mean we're going to see those shows. We know that.
Yeah.
But that surprised me. How about you? Did that surprise you or not? What do you think about this? Even though it's quite vague, there's not a lot of detail here. But the fact that it's sort of like they have these surprise things that they are working on, and it happens to be more shows for Disney Plus.
This is super surprising. I think it was for me, the biggest piece of information this past week. I was like, wait, what? Because we have been talking about, even just now with Kathleen Kennedy, I was like, they have nothing else announced right now. What do you mean she's staying on? I could see this being something that they're announcing more shows going into Celebration. Who knows if they're going to do an investor day by the end of this year to like really reconfigure what's going on. I know a lot of the rumors that we've been talking over the past few months has been like they're doing a big mix up of like what's happening, not just for Lucasfilm, but for Marvel too at Disney and with their movies and Pixar. It was a big letdown for D23 that they didn't announce what's coming next from Lucasfilm and all of the other kind of studios at Disney, because that was what was rumored to be happening. It's like, oh, you're going to get a full roadmap of what's coming next. But I think they've bit themselves a little bit by doing that in the past, especially with Lucasfilm, that they're really taking the time to make sure things are moving with their projects before they announce them. Because it's been a rough couple of years for development at Lucasfilm. So I think they're going back to like keeping it very close to them of what actually is being considered. Do you have anything that would be a dream project besides obviously make Solo 2 happen, but any shows? Because we know that Lando is going to be a movie now.
Yeah,
would you be happy if Solo was a series? I know I would.
Yeah, I would take anything at this point. I just want to see Alden back as Han and Jonas,
which we know Alden. Chewie. Yeah, and Alden does TV shows because he's in Ironheart, so that's good to know.
Yeah,
but
he said he would come back. But
is there any series you'd like to see them?
Nothing that necessarily comes to mind.
Yeah.
I couldn't even think of one. It's possible that maybe some of these ideas that we heard that were supposed to be movies wind up being TV series. Maybe they're doing... Everyone always says, oh, Old Republic, are they going to do... are they going to take their crack at their Game of Thrones and do an Old Republic TV series with a big budget? I don't know. But like maybe the focus is less shows, but because of that, be able to allocate more money to one show, because the amount of money that apparently the Acolyte costs over $600,000 a minute.
I don't know how. I really don't understand how that costs that much money to make that show.
That's the thing. So if that much money made that show, then they
Mm,
need more money to go to these shows. And there's a reason, there's certain budgets that they're allowed to have. That's why when people are like, why is it 31-minute episodes and then 37 minutes? Why can't we get an hour? It's because the cost. It's
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
So maybe we're gonna do one Star Wars show every other year, and it's gonna be
Mm,
like the Olympics, where it's like, well, this year it's a show year, and the next year is a
mhm.
movie year, and then it's a show year, and then it's a movie year, and maybe those shows will get a bigger budget. I don't know, but the fact they're making more shows, I'm surprised, because I was just saying, I think they're hitting pause on that because of what's going on with the revenue element of it, and they've clearly shifted a bunch of things from shows to movies. Lando, Mandalorian being two big ones. So I'm very surprised by this, but I'm obviously now like, what is it? I need to know. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I assume we will find something out in at Celebration in Japan in 8 months.
I hope so. I can't believe we're going to Japan in 8 months. Like,
I cannot either. Yeah.
that's a bucket list for me, guys. Bucket list
Crazy.
item.
But yeah, that is it for the news. So now it is time for me to send it to Lacey to do Will of the Force.
I fear nothing, for all this, as the Force wills it.
All right, I was prepared that time. Will of the Force, guys. It's I would say one of our fan favorite segments. It's a really great way for you guys to get involved in the show. But before I get to what it's all about, uh, the way you can get involved here is through our Patreon. So if you don't know, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TRB podcasts. Starting at just $5 a month, you can support us there, interact in the show, like with Will of the Force, where you can submit a question. You can interact with our content there in our mini episodes, which we started doing live drops with our mini episodes every week. So you can live chat with other people while the video is playing, which is a really cool feature that they just rolled out. And Discord access, t-shirts, stickers, much more. The basic gist of Patreon for us, outside of all those wonderful things that we put a lot of work into, is that you're saying that you want to support what we're doing here, support our dream of being podcasters, of covering these events and these stories, and creating content for you. It's something that John and I have been doing for a while now. We've branched out into Nerdy and Nice, and the way that you support us is through that page. So,
Thank you.
yes, thank you very much. So, this is your chance to be a part of the show. We ask for submissions each week. Will they, won't they scenarios. So, we're kicking it off with a Patreon submission from Commander Danny. What up, Danny? She asks, will we see more or less puppets and creatures going forward in Star Wars, parenthesis, compared to what we received in The Acolyte? What do you think is the future of puppetry in Star Wars with innovations like the volume and AI? John, what do you think?
Well, I think Skeleton Crew's going to solve that void for you, Danny. Not only did we see a bunch already in the trailers, and there's that cool owl-looking character, and there seems to be a lot of cool things to look at in the scenery of Skeleton Crew, and the way that you look around
Very whimsical.
Oga's Cantina or the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. You're looking for all these little Easter eggs and stuff. Skeleton Crew's going to deliver that. And Phil Tippett worked on Skeleton Crew. So you know you're getting stop motion. You know you're getting puppets. And then also look at the trend that's happening right now with Beetlejuice, which is getting rave reviews. Apparently there's a ton of straight up old school stop motion classic Tim Burton stuff in there, and people ate it up because they love that throwback. So
did you see the real practical effect they did where like his insides fall out?
I didn't see
It's insane. They released a video of it, and it's
Really?
like Michael Keaton standing there, and they have like all his insides like attached to like a rope. And so the point, like something happens, they don't explain what happens, obviously, but they pull the rope and all of his insides and like all this goo and stuff come out, and he's just standing there. and it's like a rig. And I was like, this is insane. But like, that's the stuff that Tim Burton loves.
It's true. Yeah. So I think we're trending in that direction. So I think we will obviously see a lot more puppets and that type of stuff in future Star Wars, starting with Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, this is a great question, Danny, because as you guys know, I am the puppet creature queen. I love this stuff. I'm all about it. It's what got me into Star Wars. And then all of my other kind of favorite movies like Labyrinth and just the Muppets. I grew up on the Muppets. So anything that has puppeteering in it is just a whole new world or is heightened excitement for me. I think the Acolyte did a good job of having more creatures, which was really fun from Neil Scanlon and whatnot. But my biggest critique of the sequel trilogy is that there weren't enough puppets. There weren't enough creatures that I've never seen before in a world that doesn't exist. And I can only imagine that they're going to lean back more into that, because when you look back on classic movies or the best movies of all time, like I would say Jurassic Park is a good example. Those big moments where she's touching the dinosaur and it's breathing and stuff, like that's a puppet. That's animatronics. And those things stand the test of time because of that. So I think they're going to lean more into the practical. We saw it with J.J. Abrams. We saw it with Rian Johnson as well with the Porgs. Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so. I hope we don't go too much into CG and AI. I understand sometimes when they do use it, makes sense. But give me a puppet any day. I will always prefer puppet.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is, will Greef Karga be dead during the events of the Mandalorian and Grogu? Wow. This is a question. John, what do you think?
I think I'm gonna say yes. I just don't know a better way to send off Carl Weathers' character, like saying like, oh, he was elected to the third delegate of the thing, and it's like, I guess. But
I don't think Carl Weathers would want that for his character.
yeah, I want to hear that there was a raid on his compound and he died saving his people or something like that. And we just didn't see it on screen. And maybe they can make a Mandalorian one-off comic about the heroic end of Greef Karga or something like that, because Carl Weathers is the man and he's been with Mando since day one.
Yeah, they could start the movie at his funeral.
Yeah. So I hope it's one of those where he had this like sort of cool exit that somehow pushes the story forward for Mando off screen, and that he could pick up from there, or something happened. Like, Jon Favreau, you know how much he loved Carl Weathers. He's going to take care of his character. It's just a matter of how he's going to do it. So I'm not worried about it because it's Jon Favreau. But I'm not sure how he's going to do it. But I do think Greef Karga, we're going to find out that he's not alive. What do you think?
I think that he's unfortunately going to be not in the Mandalorian. Like, he's going to be dead and he's going to be written out before the movie starts. I think the perfect way to do it would be have his funeral or memorial service right at the beginning of the movie, get it out of the way, so people aren't playing the game of like, when is this happening? When are they going to address it? When, like, just get it out in front. I still can't believe that we're even having this question. It's just so wild that like this happened, but I agree. I think Jon Favreau is the best person with the most heart for all his projects that is going to handle it with care.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Next, we have a Patreon submission. Again, patreon.com/TRB podcasts. Stephen Bowman, what up, man? He said, will we ever see The Stranger again in a Star Wars project? Parenthesis, whether that is live action, animation, video game, or book. John,
you go first.
100% we will. I don't think that's the last of The Stranger. They just had him at D23. He had a huge crowd. He was signing autographs. He's going to Celebration next year. He has been consistently called one of the best villains Star Wars has ever had. He did crazy training. He's memorable. He's a fan favorite. Even if people didn't like the show, they liked The Stranger. I think we're going to see him again. And the fact that he's tied to Plagueis, I don't think that's the last we've seen of him. And I think he will show up in a live action project. I don't think he's going to be pushed to a comic or a book, which I still think they're going to do those. I just don't think that that's going to be the only outlet for his character. What do you think?
You and I are due for like a nice solid fight because we're doing too much.
We're going to get to
I don't mean to be boring,
everything.
but I got to do something to piss you off. I don't know what it is.
Oh, jeez.
I I just do like I just drive on your lawn. Just come over.
That wouldn't bother me.
I think we will see him again. I think I don't think we've seen the last of Manny Jacinto as Chimera or the Stranger. I don't think it's necessarily going to be in a book. I think he will be back as long as he wants to be back.
Yeah, it's up to him. Yeah.
Because I still think they have to do something with Plagueis. They can't just have him peek behind that cave wall and then be like, "Oh, that's about it." And then you just, put the pieces together yourself, and then Palpatine will tell you the story. It's like, no, we're gonna see that. One of those shows they're developing might be, hate to say it, Lacey, a Plagueis series.
No. Oh my God, there it is. There's the argument. Absolutely not. I hate it. I hate Palpatine. I hate no.
What if that series takes place over a long period of time and it's Plagueis, it's the Stranger, Chimera, whatever his actual name is. Maybe it is Chimera. I don't know. But it could take place where he's his master, and then years down the road, we could see Palpatine kill Chimera to take the spot. There's a lot they can do. It does, like, just because, and I said this the day the Acolyte.
I told you he could usurp back in later. Like, what if he's frozen somewhere and then rolls up?
Well, that is what we call wild.
That was my bananas theory.
Yeah, but when the Acolyte was canceled, the first thing I thought was like, damn, I want to see more of that character, and I want to see Plagueis. Those are the two characters I want to see continue. More, that were alive. I wanted more Master Soul. I wanted more Jackie Long because I like them, those actors. But so I was like, they can continue. It doesn't mean just because the Acolyte's canceled doesn't mean they can't continue this story somewhere else. Like, we've seen that happen before. We saw the Clone Wars was canceled, and then Ahsoka showed up in Rebels. Like, it doesn't mean that character's finished. So the fact that, like you said, they brought in the D23, they announced he's coming to Celebration Japan. They did announce it before it was canceled, but I still think he's going to be there, and they'll find a place for him.
I think that he went to D23, but they knew it was canceled before he went there, because they don't just randomly be like, this is canceled. Like, lots of conversations take place when making that decision. I don't think it was like randomly on a Tuesday they were like, by the way, we're canceling this show.
No, I understand, but it could have been something that came down from Disney. Like,
I think it was definitely a Disney decision. I don't think it was a Lucasfilm decision.
100% Disney decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we will see him again. But hopefully you and I don't agree as much moving forward.
I don't agree with the Plagueis Palpatine stuff. Get this stuff out of here.
All right. I guess I'll be doing the podcast myself during that run.
All right. Are you ready to see what other people said about things?
Well, no, because we have one more.
Oh, we do have one more question. My bad. The Palpatine stuff made me want to change the subject. That's how bad I hate it. All right. The question is, will The Mandalorian and Grogu use the traditional Star Wars main title and opening crawl, which Kathleen Kennedy confirmed was returning for a new movie? John?
The Star Wars main title and crawl will open The Mandalorian and Grogu. And as soon as the John Williams fades and the camera pans, the N1 will blast right by the camera, and that's when they'll kick in the Mandalorian theme. So they'll do the main Star Wars entrance, but then be like, just a reminder, it's Ludwig time, and it'll be the kickoff. Yeah. Ba-boom.
I agree. I think this is a pretty obvious question. Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that it was returning, and it's the first movie back, Star Wars wise. Yes, of course, it's going to use the main title.
Okay,
they're tying.
I
it
didn't
back
think
to
you were
Star
going to say
Wars.
that, actually. But...
Why? That's a very straightforward question. It's like, Kathleen Kennedy said this is going to happen. Do you think it's going to happen?
But she didn't
Yes,
say she
it's
didn't
gonna
say it in
happen.
conjunction with The Mandalorian. She was just talking about it might have been Celebration Anaheim.
I'm sorry. Is The Mandalorian and Grogu not a Star Wars movie?
It is, but she
Is
didn't
it?
say the
Oh, it
next
is.
movie.
Oh, it is. Right. It's a Star Wars movie.
What's with the attitude?
Oh, it's a Star Wars movie. That's right. The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's a Star Wars movie. This
You're
is a
gonna
Star
wake
Wars
up with
podcast.
tire marks all over that lawn tomorrow. Let me tell you something right now.
All right. Resistant transmissions. All right, guys. This is like, I think, one of my favorite, if not the favorite segment.
Oh,
Kyle. People at home, audio people. Kyle just said, "You guys have such great chemistry." You have no idea.
no, he put it in quotes because people say that, and
I
it's Kyle's
know.
way of saying we don't have good chemistry.
We actually, we have our moments. High fiving over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also have our. I'm sorry. Can we go back for a second? You literally were like, "I'm surprised you said yes to Kathleen Kennedy saying that they were going to do the title," and then you being like, "I didn't think you were going to say yes to that."
I didn't think you were going to say yes to that because I thought you would think the Mando's the one that they won't do that with because Ludwig's music. That's what I thought you were going with that. Like the next movie will have it, not the Mando one though.
What, do you not know me? How long has this been?
You not know me? Is that a Star Wars alien? You not know me in the Outer Rim.
All right. Resistance transmissions.
Those poor you not know me's.
Is that what I said?
You said,
I
do
said,
you not know me? Do you not know me?
Do you not know me? That's a statement. What are you mocking right now? All right. Anyway, resistance transmissions. Guys, my favorite segment is back. So the way this works is John puts up a crazy, wacky situation on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it.
And Blue Sky, baby.
On social media. And you guys give your answers, and then I read them here. So usually I don't know what the scenario is, the situation. But John spoiled that at the top of the show, so I actually know what it is this time around. But I don't know. But I don't know what the answers are. So we're gonna see how it goes. Frank says in the comments, "You not know me." It's a new idea for TRB.
I'm so self-conscious to raise my arms now because one time I had an old shirt with like sweat stains on it, and some dude in the comments goes, "John, it's called deodorant. Use it." I was just like,
"Jeez Louise!" I remember you told me that.
And now I'm like, "Oh, I better not raise my arms."
And
she said, "Jerk" is in the comments again.
Yeah, whatever. People are weird. Who cares? You can raise those arms, John. Do it. Do it for the crowd at home. Look at that. Look at that.
All right, let's move on.
Raise me up. Right. All right. So the situation is: pretend Arnold Schwarzenegger was cast as the stranger in The Acolyte. What is a cheesy action movie one-liner he would say after killing a Jedi? First answer was Master Bear Jedi. At Master Bear Jedi.
Nice.
Way to get your handle, Master Bear Jedi.
Well, it's not his real name.
He still got it.
Yeah, because all right.
Are you gonna say it?
No, because it doesn't qualify.
All right. You sound like an insurance agent. It does not qualify. He said, "Soul, she was a child." And Arnold said, "She shouldn't have poked around."
That's good.
I have a terrible Arnold accent. Frank Grande the third.
We should have gotten Josh Robert Thompson to do it.
I know we should have. Maybe we should have him do him. Frank said, "I have no." Oh, sorry. This is all him. I was doing like before where it was one or the other. So this is all Arnold. "I have no name, but a Jedi like you might call me Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers." Ha! You did not know I was going to say that.
So that's from Last Action Hero.
Okay.
Good job, Frank.
Next is Les Greenhog at les.bluesky.social. He said, if the Jedi bleeds, we can kill it.
Nice.
Is that Predator?
Yep.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? Predator, I've seen the new one. I haven't seen the old ones.
What do you mean?
The new one that just came out?
You've
Predator?
never seen Predator?
No.
But you watched the new Predator movies.
Yeah, I liked the new one with the girl that fight
Oh,
that hunts in the woods. That
God
was
help me.
Dan Trachtenberg, I think, is the guy that made it.
Yeah, what was the name of that movie?
Prey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better pray.
All right. Aaron Moats at Aaron Moats 2. He said, Jackie got jammed.
Jackie got jammed.
Jackie got jammed.
Jackie got jammed.
That is actually a very good Arnold. Oh man. Andrew Haley at Andrew Haley 05.bluesky.social. What up, Andrew? He said, Hasta la vista, Jedi.
Right on the money.
And then someone's like, sir, this is Star Wars. How dare he? And
they have Spanish in Star Wars? What?
It would spawn like 70 hate videos.
Oh my God. They'd be like, how dare you? English only.
Next is Brian Pothier. What up, Brian? Where you been, man? He said at B Pothier, he said, I eat Jedi for breakfast, and right now I'm very hungry.
That is a good one.
And Jetta Rosewater at jettarosewater.bluesky.social. What up, Jetta? She said, I'll be back.
I mean, you got to do an I'll be back. and that's fitting because we were talking about the stranger coming back. So there you go.
I think my favorite one is Jackie got jammed.
Jackie got jammed over there. Fantastic.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us on social media at TRB Podcasts on all apps.
Yeah.
On the apps.
Right over there. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching and being a part of TRB. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you follow us on Blue Sky because we are posting over there more. Love that they have a desktop accessible version. Very cool. But also, like Lacey was saying, TRB podcasts across the board. We talked about Patreon a lot. If you can, please do consider supporting us. We wouldn't be able to do this without it. So thank you very, very much. And we want to grow. We want to be able to do this full time, honestly. So if you've been enjoying the show for a while and you're able to, thank you very much for any and all support. But a big shout out to the Generals and Spice Runners. Carmelo, who I think I saw in the chat, he got one of his new Patreon t-shirts from us. So thank you, buddy. Carmelo, John Reese, Jetta Rosewater, Frank Grande, Nick Kratz, Chris Morales, Brian Smith, Danny, Mike Ramori, Brendan McLaughlin, Sneaky Zebra, Dave Hornack, Jolton Jedi DiMaggio, Colin Cormier, and Stephen Garrow. Spice Runners, David Probus, Neil Shaw, Kendall Gellner, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, and the Fort Worthian. And everyone who listens to TRB, tells people about TRB, supports us in any way. Thank you all so much. And anyone who's taken the time to check out Nerdy Nice, that means a great deal to us too. So thank you so much. Lacey, where can people find you and chat you up?
People can find me on social media at Lacey Gillerin and on TikTok at It's Lacey Gillerin. And of course on Nerdy and Nice on Mondays. You guys are the best.
Mondays are for the nerds. For me, Johnny Hoey on X, and I am getting close to making a full priority pivot to Blue Sky. So follow me there.
Yeah, and Twitter's become
it's rough.
A cesspool.
It's rough. It really is. It's rough, and it's a shame. But and then Nerdy Nice on Mondays, and my movie pod, Just Like the Movies. We're doing Caddyshack next. But thank you everybody so much. We'll be back with you next week with more Star Wars talk. Hopefully the news is a little light so we can fire up a nice little discussion.
One that
But
John and I disagree on.
yeah, we have to do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But thank you all so much, and we look forward to talking more Star Wars next week. So have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy, if you're in the U.S., Labor Day, long weekend. Enjoy that.
And Canada.
Canada, and last little glimmer of summer as we
Mhm.
head into fall and get ready for all that goodness. And we'll have Nerdy and Nice out for you on Monday. So if you're not doing anything on Labor Day, maybe you're hungover, you're just tired, you're a little Monday scaries for going back to work or school Tuesday, Nerdy and Nice will be there for you. But either way, thank you all so much for your support. And until next time, from Lacey and I, we'll see you around, kids.